Modern dating is worse than it's ever been. I can't tell you the number of times I've been ghosted, stood up, lied to. Actually, most of my relationships with men in this lifetime have been racked with toxicity and betrayal, and I've been single for a really long time. However, there's still a part of me that really longs for a deep, meaningful, romantic connection. So when one of my dear soul sisters that I've known for many lifetimes booked me to do a healing spell that covered power dynamics and dating, it really hit close to home. Taking a closer look at the core issues, I saw many lifetimes of an ongoing power struggle between divine masculine and divine feminine. Some lifetimes the feminine was on top, sometimes it was the man, pun intended, but ultimately it's a cycle of pain that so many of us, including myself, have been caught up in and are really ready to let go of. My dear sister was gracious enough to let me share the spell with all of you, and I really hope that it has a benefit for all those who watch or replicate, because if we want to fix the broken dynamic between masculine and feminine and our individual lives, both in dating and collectively, then we really have to start taking a look at the part that we've played and accepting or perpetuating such toxicity. I'm starting by cutting the candles. It was really important for this particular ritual for my client for everything as much as possible to have a handcrafted element. There is a deep ancestral healing that's going on here, and one of the most well-known traditions of African people and ancestry is the artisan element. A lot of things, even to this day, are handcrafted and are really infused with the essence of the person who made it. So it didn't feel right just to use like normal store-bought candles and have that be the end of it. I really wanted to have a human touch, so I made a point to cut them in half. This just helps make the spell a little bit more balanced, so the candles aren't gigantic and overwhelming the rest of the spell, but it also gives that handcrafted artisan element. That was really important, just to pay homage to the ancestors and the ancestral healing that's going on here. I added some paprika. Paprika is an amazing herb. It's slightly masculine, but it's pretty balanced overall. But it's really in there to infuse that sense of fire and to promote a healthy rebalancing of the fire element. It's also being used to symbolize the distortion of the divine feminine, because for this spell, the healing is really going directly into the divine feminine. And I added salt as well to help absorb negativity. Next, I grabbed my roses. I was guided to use fresh white roses to represent the purity of the divine feminine, and I'll place them on the plate in the shape of a Merkaba, which is also the same shape as my candles. The Merkaba, one of my favorite shapes to work with. You'll notice I really don't use pentagrams at all in my ritual work, because pentagram is a newer adaptation of the Merkaba. The Merkaba is really the original shape. It's the shape of balance. I just consider the pentagram to be a little bit out of balance because it has 5 points instead of the original 6. And 6 was also a very important number for this particular ritual, because 6 represents the material, for better or for worse. It can be the divinity of the body and all that the body has to offer, or the toxicity. And since this is about balancing the divine masculine and divine feminine on earth, the number 6, as you'll see, is really, really prominent in the creation of the ritual and then everything that I use. So the Merkaba shape just made more sense because it's a 6-sided star. I'm making sure to put some of that paprika on my roses because the white roses represent purity. The paprika is representing the fire element that has kind of distorted that purity, for lack of a better word. Everything is innocent at its core, but through the world of illusion, made it act out in ways that are harmful. Then the final step for my setup is just to tie a white rose petal to each of my outer candles to represent a balance and divinity of the higher realms. So yeah, I just used some floss. I didn't have any string, but that is the setup. The primary element that we're using for the healing for this ritual is water. It's fire that is the trigger point of the problem. So we're using the water to heal the fire. One thing that I learned or relearned really by doing this spell is that every element has its own masculine and feminine embedded within it. We like to think of certain elements as just masculine and others as just feminine, but the truth is they all have masculine, feminine, as well as shadow and light. What I'm targeting for this particular spell is a shadow aspect of feminine fire. It's that aspect that encourages women to think that they don't need men, that men are worthless, that men are beneath them. It's just a defense mechanism from pain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to baptize these roses in ocean water that I got from the sea. Even though the ocean water is still predominantly feminine and we need that, we're going to bring the masculine element very, very forward to balance out that shadow fire feminine. We rebalance the fire element. Within the divine body in this lifetime now. Divine love and gratitude. Now wash clean any old transgressions, mistakes, our false beliefs, constructs, and re-purify the feminine in its most balanced and divine loving state. May any maladaptive fire elements be washed away through the beautiful ocean waters of our ancestors. I purify the divine feminine through the light of divine mothers of great ocean Gaia. As for cleansing and healing of her fire elements, remove the shadows, sweet divine mother and father of the oceans. Purify our thoughts, our minds, our hearts, our beliefs. Help us forgive ourselves for any mistaken contracts we played into. We are ready to relinquish all power struggle between the sexes and reunite as one through divinity and wholeness, equality and balance, faith, purity, as is the natural way. May the essence of the firmament bear witness this truth, that we are equal in love in all moments. So let it be. The sands of time have passed, and now we are reborn again as one, united in the holy Trinity and divinity of God. We balance the divine masculine and the divine feminine elements within us: fire, air, water, and earth. Through time and space, we meet our divine love again, and now are reunited in divine love and oneness for the health and healing of all. So let it be. Well, rose oil. The order of the rose and with divine love and gratitude, we now complete the cycle that has triggered the imbalance of power between divine masculine and divine feminine across all time space. We send divine mother healing into any residual aspects of the divine feminine and masculine that prevent divine union and thwart love and unconditional connection and joy. With the lighting of this candle, the cycle is complete. We now open the doors to a new template based in divine truth and equality. So let it be. It is done. After I completed the invocations, I was guided to take the petals off of the roses. This just symbolizes the return to formlessness and a oneness state for the feminine, the masculine. That will happen via the candles burning. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.